Shalom unto the hopeful elect. Let me start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy unto the hopeful elect. It's the brother Ayah coming back at you through the Spirit, pushing this gospel to so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the children of Israel, also known as the chosen people of the Heavenly Father. All right, so I'm checking out 2 Kings 17th chapter, man. It makes me think, Scripture tell you in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, to measure the times, man, diligently within themselves. So I was thinking about that in a twofold sense, man. So if you're measuring the times also about how we used to be going into our forefathers right here, and into the measuring that into how we are now as a measuring stick to see what condition we are in, to see how far we are striven away from the Most High more, or are we striving to be that much closer to the Most High? It's a question that you would ask yourself, man, because striving away from the Most High is definitely can never be in your favor, and that shows you through history. So just a measuring stick to show you, especially in these times, we're definitely going to need our power. So going back into the old days of our forefathers, man, when we strived against the Heavenly Father, we did things that was evil in His sight. He sent these nations to come against us, basically. And right now, that the nation that He has sent against us right now, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's about to come down with that sword, man. And he's the most wicked, man. He's the most wicked. It tells you in I think that's in the book of Maccabees, basically where the four generals that had ruled under after Alexander. Roughly paraphrasing, I don't know if that's in the book of Maccabees, but after who they call Alexander the Great, Alexander the Greek, after he ruled, the four generals that took over, it says that evil increased more in the world. So imagine how much more evil it is now. And those are Edomites then. There's Edomites in the building now, man. But now the technology that they have at their use, man, and all these concentration camps and these waterboarding and all things you be seeing in the news that they do until they're prisoners of war, in a sense. Just imagine how much crazy things will be in these times, man, to be totally delivered into their hands. It's definitely something you should not want and strive to not want. I'd say that. So I'm just gonna get right into it, man. I'm just gonna go over just the highlighted parts that I have here. I'm gonna start off at the top, man. Going in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel in 9 years. So it tells you, man, when you read these few previous chapters, that a few of our kings was reigning in Samaria. I say that, right? It says, verse 2, and he, which is talking about Hoshea, did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. So, he may not did more the same wickedness as evil deeds as the previous kings, but still, nonetheless, he did evil. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. Let me run that back. It says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before. So basically it says against him, right? So, because this is Heavenly Father's doing, man. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, right? And Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. You see, so that's the same thing now, man. When the Heavenly Father sets up these bases of men over us, we become and subject to them, I forget the right word I want to use, man. Where you end up tributaries, where you end up, paying monies and things of that nature to please these heathens. So it's the same thing happened right here, where Hoshea became a servant. Yeah, became a servant unto the king of Assyria, right? And gave him presents. So check this out, verse 4. It says, and the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no presents to the king of Syria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. You see, he wasn't receiving those presents, so he had issues with that, right? So what happened, verse 5? Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria, right, and besieged it 3 years. All right. So in the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria, in the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria. So Israel is carried away, that's going into the Assyrian captivity, man. It says carried Israel going into the northern kingdom, man, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. All right, I'm just going to get to the highlighted parts, man. You can check the chapter out by yourself. Verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel. See, so this is the you definitely don't want unless if the Lord testified against you. You want them to be definitely for you, man. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways. This is what he testified, saying, turn from your evil ways, man, and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. So there it is, man, going into the law, statutes, and commandments. It was prevalent and important to our power then, and it's just as important now, man. Verse 15. And what? And they rejected his statutes. So what happens when we reject the statutes of the Heavenly Father, man? I'll tell you that. I think that's Proverbs. Let me grab that really quick. Proverbs 28. Actually, it's two scriptures. Proverbs 28:9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So when you reject law, statutes, commandments, your prayers are basically abomination, man. All right. So therefore, it reminds me of the other precept, Hosea 4:6. Went into rejecting our powers, law, statutes, commandments. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. See, going into that reject. Since thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. You see, and thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. All right, so that's a dangerous, very dangerous situation to be in, to be rejected.
Proposed service changes.
Rejecting our power, man. All right, this is verse 17. Verse 15. It's like it. And they rejected his statutes, see, and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them, and they followed vanity. See, that's when you reject Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the law, statutes, commandments. You become vanity, man. And became vain, meaning we're all for nothing, man. And went after the heathen. See this? Then you go after the heathen, because you have nothing to stand for. Then it says, and went after the heathen that were round about them. So it's the same thing taking place now, concerning whom the Lord hath charged them that they should not do like them. Right, going into Isaiah the 10th chapter. And learn not the way of the heathen, right? Verse 16. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their power, and made them molten images, right? Even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served by all. Is that the same thing you see right now? They create their own figures out of whatever they make it out of, clay or whatever, glass these days, man. And they start worshiping the images, man. And they serve by all. They serve, these gods that are not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, basically. Verse 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire. So even sacrificing their children, and use divination and enchantments. Witchcraft, trying to do spells, all type of stuff that we're into now, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord. So now we are selling ourselves. We're trying to see how much we can get for our souls, or we're making blood oaths, all types of things, man. Sold yourselves, man. What to do evil in the sight of the Lord, and to provoke him to anger. See, these are the things that makes Heavenly Father angry, man. Therefore, the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight, that there was none left but the tribe of Judah only. So he removed, going into the northern kingdom, got them in that Assyrian captivity right there, man, under the Syrians, right? But check this out. It says, verse 20, and the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. So these nations, they come to spoil us. Ultimately, it's the Heavenly Father's doing. He delivered us into them, right? And they afflicted us, right? And it's a movie too, man. It's not called Them. Well, it's not Us, or I think it's called Them. I forget which one, because it's two similar titles. But anyway, you have the Edomites saying that the Lord, he said that you are the Lord's people, and you didn't do what the Lord told you to. He said that these nations were going to afflict you, so I'm here to afflict you. He said it straight up like that, man. All right, verse 23. Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. All right, so there goes the Assyria, where under the hand of the Assyrians, right there. All right, verse 25. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. See, it just gets more dangerous the more we struggle away from our power. Man, he sent lions against us and slew us. It's verse 30. And the men of Babylon made. It's like this is going into when you deal with these other nations, they all have their own gods. I just wanted to point that out because it tells you that the nations' gods are nothing but idols, man. So, and the men of Babylon made Sukkoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak. See, some of these nations has like a twin type of god that they deal with, that they so-called worship. And the Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. So just letting you know that this is going into these nations. They have names for the gods. Just wanted to point that out. So it's no different today whether our people into Buddha or Islam or Krishna or whatever they're into. It has a god, and if you're just serving the so-called white man, he becomes your damn god. Basically, you do anything he says to do. All right, two more verses. Verse 34. And unto this day they do after the former manners. See, same thing our forefathers did with making calves and worship Baal and things of that nature. It's the same. It's the former manners. Until this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinance, or after the law and commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. See, that's a cut too, man. So the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. So Jacob got his name changed to Israel. So you people talking about, pray for Israel, got an Israel flag. It's not talking about that place, Israel, where you see those heathens are. Israel's talking about the children of Israel, man, which Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, man. All right, and verse 37. And the statutes and the ordinance and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, see? So that law, statute, commandment was written by our power, man. He wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods. So when we come back to our power, it give you that oomph to not fear these other gods, man, that our people are into. I'm gonna worship Buddha, I'm gonna worship this and that, and if I don't worship Buddha, or Allah's gonna destroy me, or Krishna's gonna destroy me, or the universe is gonna destroy me. You're into all that. You won't have that mindset anymore once you come back to your power. All right, just going into that, man. Like the scriptures tell you, Romans 5:14, the things that are written before our time, written for our learning. All right, Lord willing, I'm able to continue to push. Shalom.